Hey guys, today I'm going to be going over how to make a graph on Google Spreadsheets. This can be helpful on all subjects, but in particular statistics and business. To start off, you have to have a set of data that you're looking at. I've chosen some information from McDonald's, which looks at nutritional information of different food items. First, you need to choose what part of the data to look at. I've chosen to look at the desserts section. Then, choose two or more variables which you're going to compare in the graph. I decided to choose the energy per serve in calories and sugar in grams per serve. Now, go onto your device and open up Google Spreadsheets. Next, you have to transfer the data you have onto the spreadsheet by typing it all up. For this graph, I'll need to type in the names of the desserts, the energy per serving, and the sugar per serve. In column A, I have typed the names of the desserts that I'm looking at. Column B will be the energy in calories per serve. Write this all up into the spreadsheet. Lastly, column C, where we're going to type in the sugar per serve in grams. This information once again should already be provided, so all you have to do is transfer it from your data into the spreadsheet. Now to make the graph, highlight all the data you're using. Once you've highlighted the data you're using, click the chart button at the top. It'll come up with lots of different graphs you can choose. Make sure you pick the right one. Because I'm comparing sugar and calories in servings, I'm going to use a bar graph. Once you've chosen the graph that you're using, look to the right where it says chart types and click that to look at different ways in which your graph can be displayed. The classic column graph is the easiest and safest option to choose, but if you want, you can choose other things like the line graph, depending on how you want your data displayed. Next, to add details to your graph, click Customization on the right to Chart Types. One of the most important things to do is to add a title. Make sure it's appropriate to the data that you've used. My title is going to be Calories vs Sugar in McDonald's Desserts. You can also do things like change the size, boldness, font and colour of the title. Now we're going to move on to labelling the axes by scrolling down slightly. We'll first look at the horizontal axis, which is what's written going across the graph. I'm going to write in the variable, so dessert item names, and as I click enter, it will come up below all the names of the dessert items. I'm going to do the same for the left vertical axis by writing calorie and sugar content. Next, we're going to scroll down even further to where it says grid lines. The major lines are the fatter lines, or the scale that the data goes up in, and the minor lines are the smaller lines that occur on the graph. It's completely up to you how you want your grid lines to show. Just make sure it's a suitable scale to suit the data you chose. Now we're going to scroll right to the bottom where it says Scale and Series. The scale will be on the default series, which is usually going to be what you're going to use, but if you need to change it, you can always do that. We're almost done. Now we're going to look at the data values. You can click either None or Value. If you click Value, all that happens is the numbers will pop up on your graph. I personally like using this feature. Now to look at the series. This is where you can individually edit the columns. You can change things like the colour and whether you want the data labels on it or not. Do this for both columns. It's completely up to you how you want your graph to look. Once you've edited and fixed up everything that you want on your graph, click Insert and your graph will come up like this. Even after you've finished the graph, you can still edit bits and pieces of it by clicking on the part that you want to change. The last thing I'm going to do is copy and paste the graph into my Google Doc. I'm doing this so I can add labels to what each column means. Do this by clicking Insert and then click Drawing. Within the drawing, click Text Box, draw the text box, and then write in the variables. It's important here to write in the units that you're using for clarity for whoever is looking at this graph. Then edit the text box to make it the size that you want and add it to the finished graph. And there, you have your finished graph with all the features that you need.